TACC, one child, one youth, one TACC, you. Think big, you. Together we can do this in our continent, you. Think big, you. I say one TACC, one child, one youth, one TACC, you. Think big, you. Together we can do this in our continent, you. Think big, you.
Today being the 2nd of September 2022, this is Chief Abundance. It is 5:25 in the morning. The question to the Tacian community: why were we able to appreciate tax value by over 600% and maintained it for more than 24 hours? Why were we able to do it? And if you don't know the answer, continue to listen to this audio and you will find out. What is happening in TACC is nothing new. You have the enemies within and without, and they have been identified. They have even come out openly, because TACC will expose the good and the bad. TACC will challenge your patience. It will challenge your integrity. It will challenge your loyalty. It will challenge your knowledge. It's the same thing that happens in the wilderness experience. There is nothing new here. I opened BAT on the 31st of August to let you in to another aspect of the parable of Peter, to illustrate to you that is not by might, nor by power, nor by your intelligence or finance that you will be able to accomplish everything, but rather the heavy weight of victories do not come from without you. Do not come from without you, but it's come from within. Can you imagine? I highlighted the forces and accomplishments that only imagination can bring, because imagination is God Himself. Flesh cannot imagine. Tacians, I say flesh cannot imagine. And flesh cannot live for eternity. Only the infinite within you can survive eternity. And so whatsoever your thoughts, your mindset, registered and persistent in, that is what you will accomplish. The illustration of Peter have opened the eyes of a few Tacians, which have stirred their spirits into speaking in one voice. Because that's what happens. 48 hours ago, a handful of Tacians, not two handful, a handful of Tacians decided to speak in one voice for once. We are still at the idea and the reality of what we can accomplish in unity. How do we move TACC from 2 cents to 50,000? That is the question and the challenge to the Tacian community. Are you tired of being tired, sick and broke? Because if you're not tired of your situation, you will not do anything about it. You will just regurgitate your experiences for the past 15, 20, 30 years, and you will blame it on everybody else rather than your actions. But here we are again with the parable of Peter on our third day, showing exactly and to prove exactly what I've been saying, that if you follow the instructions of abundance, it will not fail you. Those of you who were with us in the foundation, many said that we will never certify this coin. Is it not true? Were you not there? Did you not see them write in the forums, both in the Telegram group and the WhatsApp group, and said, abundance, this coin is dead on arrival. It will not see one exchange. You cannot do what you promised these people. And some say that we are scams. Those were the adjectives and the challenge that were put to abundance. But I do not look where majority is looking, because if you do, you will be a failure. You will be a failure as the majority is today. Failures. Fail to achieve their purpose. Failing to even support their family. Failing their community. Failing their country. Failing their continent. This is the majority. The majority is a failure. Is a failure. Look in your community. How many people are floating above the water and how many are drowning? I'm just asking you, just take a poll, just take a pulse in your community, in your country. Look around. See who are enjoying. It's the minority, may I say to you. And so here I open back just to give you a glimpse that whereas you're selling TACC at 2 cents, you can be selling TACC at 50,000 without a government adoption or to make it a legal tender. How so? Abundance. Because cryptocurrency appreciates or depreciates by investors' actions. That's all. It is the only period in history where unity can create billionaires. And all what is required is head work. There's no handwork in this thing. And that is why a lot of you are still suffering, because you are trying to use your wisdom, you're trying to use your experiences, you are trying to figure out how to do it. It's not for you to figure out this one. There is no hard work in this one. All what this requires, can you follow instructions? Can you be smart for once? Can you stop use your hands and your feet and use your head for once? Because that is what this is require. Peter was asked to do something that many would require is beneath them. After all, I've been doing this. I've been showing up to work for 30, 50 years. I've been in network marketing for 30 to 50 years. I have, at the incept of cryptocurrency 10 years ago, and this is how we're accustomed to do it. But Peter was instructed to cast your net on the other side. He could have refused the instruction because it was an insult and it was too simple. But in obedience, he cast his net nonetheless. He cast his net not looking for anything. He cast his net knowing what was going to happen. But he took that leap of faith and he plunged himself where no one has been or have done since. And he could not draw his net. The abundance due to obedience, the ability to follow instructions, as the Tacians have now realized what I've been saying for 2 years. They have now realized what I've been saying for 2 years. Can you follow instructions? Can you be united? There is no limits to TACC appreciation if we speak in one voice. If we do not, you will not live to reap your harvest. I make no excuse and I don't mince words. I say it as it is. It's not what you want to hear I will say, but I will say that which can make a difference in our lives, in our community. And so now we move from the parable of Peter to the parable of the wilderness experience, where two men, Caleb and Joshua, because that is the Tacian community. The majority of the Tacian do not think that we are able. We are over 140-something thousand. Let's give 40,000 to our school mass adoption. Let's say that 40,000 is with school mass adoption. The other 100,000 are adults. This is the wilderness experience that we are repeating again. And Caleb at one time, because don't forget that there were 12 noble men of character, 12 leaders that you would have known with their PhDs, masters and bachelors were chosen. Senior men among you were chosen to go and to view that which was promised. Because when something is promised, it is promised. Because he, the infinite, says, I am not slack concerning that which I promise. And I have promised you, Tacian, that this is your uncommon favor. Can you possess it? Because that is what has been told to you ad infinitum. It is a period where Tacians should not be going to work for anyone. I've said it a year ago. And if you're going to work for anyone, it means that you are not in line with your blessings. You're not in line with TACC. Tacians, the period that TACC came into existence is to be that bridge that the world can cross. We are the ones in the Tacian community to be employers in our communities. We are supposed to be erecting edifices, creating jobs, open up opportunities. That is what we should have been doing today. But instead, we have decided to carry the wilderness experience in Canaan, because that's where we are. You have decided to come out of Egypt, but Egypt have not left you. And so you are your own enemy of progress. And then you say you are frustrated. Then you say people are calling you names. Are you surprised? You will be ever called names except you follow instructions. You will be laughed at except you follow instructions. I've been saying that for a long time. TACC will frustrate the community if you don't understand the mission and the vision. And so when I see your frustration, it's just a certification of what I've said will come to pass. On the other hand, you can decide to follow instructions and enjoy the fruit and enjoy your promise of more money than you'll be able to spend down to your third and fourth generation. Because this is what TACC is. Everything that you have or you will ever pray for is in your hands today. Should TACC become 100,000 today, how many TACC do you have? Multiplied by 100,000 and tell me what will be your wealth. Do the exercise. Put it in the forum. Multiply how many coins you have by 100,000 and you tell me what you could not do in your community. And so when you see your community deteriorating, when you see thieves and bandits, when you see our girls and our boys are prostituting to keep themselves in university, where we have our teachers that are asking them to bend over their desks so that they can pass grades, when you have the employers are doing the same thing, leaders are doing the same thing, they're taking advantage of our children. We are the reason why these ills continue to happen. The Tacians, you will be responsible for a lot of the ills in our societies because we have been given the solution in our hands since 2 years ago. But we are playing with our blessing. And that which is a blessing can also be a curse. And so we move to what Caleb has now said. Caleb and Joshua, 2 out of 12. A handful of Tacian out of 100,000. It's the same thing playing out here. Decided to say to the community of Tacians that we have heard the call and we have decided to pool our resources together to make it happen. That's all what happened 2 days ago and continue to happen. And so Caleb said to the crowd of mourners and groaners and unbelievers, he quieted them and said, we are more than able to conquer the land and take it, because all what the majority sees and seen in TACC are obstacles. They don't see nothing but obstacles. But there are others that see beyond the noise. And so I am now challenging the Tacians, those of you who are sleeping, those of you who need TACC most, you need to now join the faithful Calebs and Joshua to push the mission. If less than 5 people can decide to move the coin 600% in value, less than 5 people were able to do it. What about if we have 10? What about if we have 100 people? And so I am saying now, I am instructing you again to form yourselves in groups, like-minded people. I don't need to be in the groups, but form yourselves in the group, and you get like-minded people that are willing to pool their resources, like-minded people who have now decided to take the economy in their hands, to take their future in their hands. Just like Caleb and Joshua decided to take matters into their own hands, defying the majority who says we cannot. Because that's what it is. It's 2 against 10. 2 against 10. That is why I said the majority are failures. In biblical history, the majority are super failures. And it's the same thing repeating today. Super failures. They always see the impossibilities because they always listen to the crowd. And so today, we are asked again to take note of the parable of Caleb and Joshua, the wilderness experience, and to look the giants of poverty, the giants of disunity, the giants of lack of integrity, and bring them down to their knees. This is Chief Abundance. Good morning.